Almost there. All right. Great. Thanks everyone for joining another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross-Project Council meeting. Today is the 27th of October in the year 2020. It continues. Do we, before we get into the agenda, do we have any announcements? No, nothing, nobody? No, Jory's busy, so maybe she's got all the announcements with her.
I've got one.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, so our next OpenJS Foundation AMA will be with the Dojo project. And we are going to have that on November 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So it is already on the public calendar. And so we hope that you will join us for that.
Great. Cool.
I guess I should also add that it's Node 14.x is going LTS today. So that's a good thing.
It's already out.
Yep.
Yeah, exciting. Cool. And 15 went out last week. I don't know if we mentioned that last week or not, but that's great. All exciting stuff. Cool. So let's get into one more. Great.
One more quick announcement. Speaking of Node.js, our certifications and trainings are on sale this week, like up to 75%. So if you're thinking about wanting to do that, taking the Node.js training and certification, take a look at the Halloween sale.
Halloween sale. Love it.
I guess. Yeah.
Great. Cool. So let's dig into the agenda, shall we? Let's see. First up here is the develop growth plan template. This is issue 658. Where I know where we have something started here, right? This is pull request. No, what's my computer doing? There we go. Toby added something a bit ago. Scrolling. So I don't know. Are we just waiting on people to review? Oh, this was going to move over to the other repository, right? I think that's maybe the last status of this. Toby, are you on? You're on, right?
I am on. Sorry, I was not paying attention. Yes, I have the develop growth plan template and proposal to remove the growth stage are both things that I'm looking at and that I haven't been and add growth. Like 3 out of those 4 first ones, I haven't done work on them this week, and I might be able to get to some work to it this upcoming week, but I can't promise anything.
Sure.
I know that Chris asked me if he could help, and I frankly haven't had the time to answer him. So that's the state of things on this side of the world.
Yeah. I think one action item, if Chris did want to help, or if anybody else wants to jump in here, this just needs to be moved over to the project status repo, right? That's perhaps the only thing that needs to be done here, I think, on this one. I know they're kind of related, but
more specific. I mean, there was some comments that Michael made that I needed to sort of like fold in and essentially in terms of like taking the parts of the growth plan that are like that, the specific actions you would take and move them sort of like below the plan so that the table still sort of like fit. And I started down that path and then like that, and I ended up like shaving a yak. And so that's sort of where I was at. Yeah, maybe moving it and then having this conversation again in that space is something that could work too.
Okay.
Either way, if not, I'll have some time, probably like early next week or mid next week to get some work done on this space. Yeah, next week actually, because I have some commitments as to actually building the AMP plan and presenting it to the TSC. So I'm certainly going to get that to by the end of the week.
Okay, great. And I see in the notes here, we've kind of grouped these three items together. So the next
Wonderful.
one is the pull request 650. I think probably a similar state. There are a couple of action items here. And
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I just moved
think,
them all together because I think Toby's comment probably applies to them all, right?
yes, they absolutely. I think the growth stage, the 251, the 651. I think the overall question here was, do we want to move forward with removing the growth stage or not? And the follow-up was, we need to talk to actual growth stage projects, and I don't think that there's an owner for that.
yeah, I mentioned it to Jory, but it was very much in passing. So maybe if somebody wants to drop a comment in pull request 650, tagging Jory and asking if she would,
I'll do that right now.
just send a message to the growth projects. Cool. All right. So that's all kind of a work in progress. And I encourage folks, though, to take a look at those changes and make sure they're aware of what's going on, because I think it's important stuff. Cool. Next item on the agenda is another one that we keep touching on. This is issue 649. My last comment from last week was that the consensus is to use CPC meeting time beyond agenda to do some working session work, and then to create a template with some of these items here. And it looks like Toby had created the issue template, which would close this issue.
Well, I think Brian had to do some work on top of it. I don't know if he was able to get to it. I
Yeah.
think the deal was, I'm going to open up the issue template, and then Brian's going to actually get some work on top of it. And I don't know if that was done. I didn't have a chance to look.
Yep, I'm looking at it now. This is pull request 667. So it looks like Brian's got a couple things to do, but this is pretty straightforward. So cool.
But Brian wasn't here last week, so maybe this is
maybe
new
Brian
news to
doesn't
him.
know.
But he's here now, so now he knows.
Oh, hey, Brian.
We volunteered him last week.
Oh no.
Just
Yeah.
like adding Zoom links and how to
Yeah.
get
I
stuff
can-
added to the
Oh.
calendar.
I think Brian joined the call just as we did this, which is why we volunteered him. I don't think it was as bad as you suggested it was.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's the way I remembered it. I looked to see if he was on. It's like, oh, well, no. Anyway.
All right. Let me actually just do this during this meeting.
Great.
That would be easy.
I like that attitude. Cool. Well, we'll check back with you in a minute, but we will move on accordingly. Cool. So let's see. This next one is pull request 643. I think Robin, you added a few of them here, right? Was what we were waiting for. AMP and Fastify applications are in this PR. So I think that this is it has three approvals, and it's been open for a while. So unless anybody has any objections, I say we squash and merge this puppy.
I think you should. My concern. Sorry, go ahead, Robin.
I was saying we're going to work to make it more discoverable, as I mentioned last time, as we
Sure.
regularly make updates to our website and GitHub and linking. And
Should we create an issue for that bit of work and land this and go from there?
we could do that.
I think that would be good, because then they'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you are able to just take a moment, Robin, I will squash and merge this. And
Okay.
if you want to just create a quick issue saying that we want to make them more discoverable, that would be great.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, that's done. I merged that.
Awesome. And if other people want to add to this, that would be great.
Yep. And Robin, there's a link to the pull request if you wanted to reference it in your issue. Feel free. Great. Just cruising right along here. Excellent. Simplify proposal process. Did I create a PR for this? I remember wanting to.
Last time we spent the time working on it, and
That's
we
what it
created a
was.
PR, which I can put into I'll get the link here. Here we go.
668.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it
Cool.
had a comment or two that I changed, that I addressed, but only one reviewer so far. So really, if the group here could jump in and either approve if you're happy with it or suggest changes.
Great. Yeah, I think I was waiting to see Jordan's changes land. And then were there supporting changes we needed to do along with this? Restructure the existing proposal directory.
Yeah, we might need to move that, do that as well, but
Yeah, well, regardless, I approve of these changes.
yeah, because I think it's, let's get agreement before we go and do the other work to change things around. Once it looks like we've got good agreement, I can add those changes to the PR.
Okay. Great. Looks good to me. Cool. Well, I encourage other folks to take a peek at that. We can get some reviews on there, do the add-on work, and get that update to the proposal process landed. I think it's really great because the previous way it was described was not entirely intuitive. So it'd be great to land that. Cool. Moving right along. The next issue here is issue 632. This is the provide implementation guidance for DCO/CLA. I think I will call on Brian for any sort of update on this.
I did not get that done since last week. So
Sure.
it had carved out time to work on it, but didn't get it to the point where it's ready to go forward yet.
Yep. It's cool. Excellent. And then finally on the list here is issue 592. This is develop annual review process for projects. This is kind of the, I think, maybe overarching issue that started all the growth plan work. So I'm not sure we have anything to do here necessarily. I suspect, sorry, go ahead.
I think our current active concrete action on this is the growth plan work that Toby's leading, and
yeah, it's almost like,
unless somebody wanted to do something in parallel, we're kind of waiting for that to finish to come back to this and figure out more next steps.
yeah, that's my understanding as well. Cool. Great. So that is all that we have on the agenda, and we are only 22 minutes in. I know that we have agreed to use time beyond the agenda in these meetings to work on things, which I am happy to do, but I have also had a crazy week, so I don't have anything prepared or would not necessarily know where to dive in per se. Does anybody have any thoughts, or should we just give time back for today?
I hate to take your time back. The only thing I have is I noticed that Rachel sent out an update on the designs for the supporter program. Is that correct? We haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to talk about them yet. We can always do it
Yes.
async. What do you think are good next steps here?
Yeah, I was meaning to review them, but haven't looked at it yet. That's on my list.
Yeah, the initial ask was for folks to take a look and provide feedback. And if we wanted to schedule some time to kind of go through everything, we could certainly do that as well. Just trying to, do it for everybody's schedule.
Yeah, we can either, we can provide feedback async over email and then kind of discuss in next week's meeting, or we can do it on this call. I'm happy to lead it if people need to drop, or Rachel, actually, it might probably makes more sense for you to lead it, or it does. I don't know. Any strong feelings?
I think it's good to have a meeting just so we could capture concrete feedback for the design firm. for any updates. So
So is that something like if we pre-planned it for this week, we could have done it right now, or is that something that we can do now? Like, is it 10, 20 minutes, or do you need more time?
I think, whatever time we had available to it, I think would be beneficial. I know, nobody's had much time to prep on it, but I don't think that that's necessarily a blocker. And I don't know if the context came through, but this is the individual supporter program and this concept of JavaScript Landia and assets around that we were.
So did that go out through an email, or was it in a update to an issue?
It went out through an email, and it went to sort of the sort of subcommittee
Okay.
who was initially saw the first set of creative.
Sorry,
I guess I was just suggesting like either next week in this slot or this week if we can do it ad hoc, but.
I lost my internet there. Sorry if I might have missed anything.
We could plan it for next week. It kind of feels like no one feels strongly either way.
yeah, I think it might take time with folks who don't have a lot of the context leading into it and then getting feedback. So it might be better to get that prep work done as we bring it. And then perhaps we can close on something, get close to closing on something next week. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. And is there anyone that wants to see them that currently isn't on the email list? Everyone is welcome.
No.
Okay, great. Well then, should we schedule it for next week?
Let's do it.
That's
Awesome.
good.
Great. We have 34 minutes.
Yeah, fantastic. I've got so much to do, so I'm kind of
Now,
excited.
you did say we were going to stick around, right, for a private section?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's
Relax.
It sounds like that's not going to be possible. Unfortunately, what a shame,
Maybe try tethering.
Oh no,
Joe.
I'm going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Private
It's the
session,
Joe remix.
and then we can call it a wrap.
Oh, Joe,
Cool.
we did not hear you a word of that.
No.
You were very hardcore roboting.
Oh boy, good times. Can you hear me now or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
We can no longer see you. You really need to listen to the recording of that. It's absolutely worth your 5 minutes, I swear.
Oh,
Good times.
you might want to switch to LTE or something, Joe.
So yeah, am I still pretty bad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the co-chair of this thing?
Nothing.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
bad, Joe.
Good.
Good timing.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop the stream.